Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right. So this afternoon session basically is to explain the activity that you are going to do. Basically, this is a 2+1 course, and the 2-hour lecture is basically from 8 till 10 every Monday. And the +1, the activity is on Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Okay, so what we are going to do for today, basically I'm going to explain to you the course outline in terms of the activity. In terms of the explanation for today's briefing, okay, normally what we are going to do for how I'm going to conduct this particular course. So every week we will have a lecture from 8 until 10 on Monday, and whether sometimes I will invite external speaker, or most of the time I'm going to cover the course. And for the activity or the practical aspect of this particular course, you are going to do it on Friday from 3 till 6. And since the university still not allow us to have physical lecture or activities in UPM unless our course is practical oriented, so we will try to continue the engagement through online. So let me just highlight again in terms of the course synopsis, right? So you have seen this last Monday, and this particular course will cover the engineer's profession, the ethics and responsibility in relation to environmental, socio-economic sustainability, safety and health issues, legal system, contract law, management and entrepreneurship. So what we are going to focus for today's briefing is on the final part of the synopsis that highlighted that about the course also involves application of engineering knowledge through joint activities with the community. So who are the communities, right? So later today you should be able to know what kind of activities you are going to do, who are the communities that going to get involved. Is it the industry? Is it society? Is it community in such, let's say, schools surrounding University Putra Malaysia, or any government agencies that is outside there, or any other parties? So we will look into it in more detail. So at the same time, this slide has already been shown before. So we are going to focus on the CO3, the course outcome number 3. So there are 3 course outcomes for this particular course. You are be able to do certain things. Course outcome number 1, to correlate the current issue of the environment, socio-economic and sustainability with some engineering practice. And then you are going to also be able to explain the ethical duties and responsibilities of engineers in society related to legal, management and entrepreneurship aspect. So, and the last course outcome is related to the activity that you are going to do. So basically you are going to be able to apply your knowledge, your skills and engineering knowledge. So when we say that skills and engineering knowledge, the knowledge and skill that you already acquired throughout the particular course, the particular program from year 1 until year 3. So you are going to carry out activities with the community. Okay, and then we would like also to see the course outcome mapping, right? So when we say course outcome mapping, for the course we have 6 program outcome that need to be addressed. However, for course outcome number 3, right? So we have 3 course outcome. Course outcome number 3 is related to the activities, and it also being mapped to the program outcome number 6. So what is program outcome number 6? Okay, it is about creating, selecting, applying techniques. Meaning that you need to be able to create, you need to be able to select, as well as need to be able to apply appropriate techniques, resources, and modern engineering and IT tools, right? For example, like modern engineering and IT tool, probably you going to be able to run simulation. You going to be able to design things. You need to be able to use certain software in terms of trying to solve the community or the society problems. So over here being highlighted that it's include prediction and modeling, so it can be a simulation, to complex engineering activities. So when we say complex engineering activities, it's not about doing social works. It's not going to help for example, like you chose elderly people care center. So a group of students probably choose that particular elderly people care center, and you are not going to go there and try to clean up the center. It's not about that. It's about to try to apply your knowledge and skills to something that is beneficial to the elderly people in the care center, and try to solve their engineering problem. For example, like maybe at the center you have a normal house or a normal shop lot that do not have certain things. For example, like elderly people, we know that they are having a lot of difficulties. So you can propose some tools. For example, you create railings from the front door to the dining hall, so that they can easily try to use the railing for their safety when they want to move in the house. And there are a lot of other things that you can propose, like a project related to IT. For example, like you can, instead of having certain switches for the lighting, you can then have voice command activation for certain things in the elderly people house, and there's so many other things. There's so many things that can be done, and you as a group, you need to propose, meaning that we have to, I will identify, I will explain later on what are the outline of the activities. Okay, so basically it's going to cover or address the program outcome number 6, and we need just to focus on course outcome number 3, and later on, once everybody achieve the course outcome number 3, you will be able to attain the program outcome number 6. Okay, right. In terms of the course activity, just now I have highlighted a little bit on example whether the activities can be conducted in a community. So later on, you're going to identify the target group. Okay, which community you are going to identify, whether is it a school, whether is it a government office, like maybe a firefighter station, or it can be some a supermarket, or it can be certain other. It is community. It is quite open. So the practical activities for this course include activities with the community. So the community has to be identified in the first place, using the engineering theory and practical learn in class. So you have to be able to show whatever project that you would like to engage with the community must consist some or many elements of engineering theory, as well as practical aspect that you have learned so far. Okay, I know it's quite still very vague, still very open-ended. Okay, and you're going to be divided into group, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm going to provide the list of groups in Putra Blast. I'm doing it now basically, but I haven't finalized the group members. Okay, we are going to have 5 students per group, so we are going to have 10 groups all together. Okay, And then the team will be responsible for planning. So you are going to do planning. You are going to have like a project plan. You are going to propose. You are going to do coordinating. You are going to also implement the community work. So I know that probably there are questions about how are we going to do the activities with the community in this pandemic situation. So there are many ways to do it. Okay, we have done this last year under the course by Professor Tariq, and basically the group of students, they engage the community via online. They provide services, they provide design solution, they provide problem solving through online engagement with the community. So you have to show you have to be creative and innovative in terms of how are you going to implement the activities with the community. And of course, later on, you're going to identify what are the impact of the on the local communities that you already chosen. Is it you're going to design something for them? Is it that you are going to make their life easy, something that is going to help them, or you're going to solve certain problems that they are facing? Okay, for example, like you chose a community of farmers that are planting maybe pineapple. So there are problems with regard to planting pineapple, right? So even though farmers is nothing to do with aerospace, but this particular course is basically it is a general course. It is that's why the code is quite different. The code is ECV, engineering civil, so it based owned by civil engineering. But we would like the student, all engineering student, to be able to engage with the community. If you still remember, Professor Ricky already highlighted in his lecture last Monday, saying that the role of engineers is very close. The responsibility of engineers, the role of engineer are very close to the community. So because we are solving the community problem, we are building something for the community. We are our business, engineering business are for the community. Okay, and then students are encouraged to seek external sponsorship. And just to inform that I got a very good news from Professor Ricky that he is willing to sponsor one group. Okay, whoever group of students that are very lucky, they should be able to. I will just randomly pick any group. Okay, and provide the name to Professor Ricky, and he already have one project for you. And then at the same time, he will sponsor the activity for you at his company in Subang, meaning that you are going to probably have an online engagement first, and then do the planning, and then later on, once the movement control order is already eased, we can visit the company, and we can conduct the activity over there. So I already have one group being sponsored, so the rest 9 group need to find their respective funders. If you can, but there is not compulsory to have a funder, but it is encouraged, because when you have someone sponsor you, it can be 1,000 ringgit, it can be 500 ringgit, whatever value it is. It actually can help a little bit in terms of doing the activity with the community. All right. So you can seek for funding. You can get external sponsorship, meaning that I can assist you in terms of writing up a recommendation letter. Let's say you would like to ask sponsorship from a certain group of companies or certain people, individuals. Do let me know, right? And then we can write officially to them. Okay. And okay, and then the last one, the proposed activities and the final report will be presented orally and in writing. All right. Activity outline. So far, is there any question with regards to the earlier presentation? So I've already talked about the course synopsis. We already understand that there will be an activity with the community, and then we already touched on the course outcome. So course outcome number 3 is related to the activity of this particular course, and then we also explain in terms of the program outcomes what is expected from the course, and I just briefly explain in terms of the activity. So far, is there any question to be asked?
Oh,
Yes. Someone mentioned just now, but it's not clear. Is it okay, or you have any question to ask? So let me just refer to the chat. Okay, Kishore said very clear. So I hope everybody else also have the same understanding. If you have any question, you can always write it on the chat box, or you can stop me at any time. Okay, shall we continue? Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
in terms of the activity outline, right? So I have put up 10 phases or 10 steps that you are going to do the activity. Remember, the activity we only have 14 weeks, meaning that we have 14 times 3 hours. So altogether you have 42 effective hours. So you have to allocate your time for this particular semester to do this activity, ECV3011 activity. I know some students previously they take up very little time. They just put aside maybe 1 hour per week, which is not enough. So if you want to get an A, you have to properly go through number 1 until number 10, and I hope everybody will get an A throughout this particular course. It's quite easy to get an A, and it's also quite easy not to get an A. Okay, so there are cases student just being left out. They just become a passenger in the group. At the end of the day, he or she do not know what's going on in the activity, because you are going to be asked when the presentation time comes. It's not just one person presenting the project. Everybody in the group should be able to answer the question from the panels, maybe from me, maybe from some other invited speakers. So make sure you get involved from the beginning, not just leave your friends to do it. Okay, not just one person doing it. It is a team effort. It is 5 people effort. So we have 5 times 42 hours. You have so many hours in terms of the effective. Okay, number 1, activity number 1, step number 1. Basically, you are going to form your group. Okay, group formation. Unfortunately, as already decided last week, I have decided to I'm going to divide the class into several groups. You are going to have 10 groups altogether. Each group will consist of 5 people. So by the end of today, hopefully I will upload the list of groups in Putra Blast, and you can refer to it and start communicating with your respective group. Okay, and then once you know who are your group member, you need to appoint a group leader. So I would like to know who is the group leader. Okay, it doesn't mean that the group leader will be have responsibility for all things that happening in the group. It's just a point of contact. Okay, so that if you are going traveling, if you are having some assignments in group, you normally have a group leader. Okay, so I would like you to appoint a group leader, and some groups, they are very creative. They alternate the group leader. It's okay, but as long as there is one person that is being appointed for every week, I can see that there is someone is the group leader that maybe going to be representing the group. Whenever I ask question, I can ask the group leader. Okay, you can have an alternate group leader, or you can maintain one group leader throughout the activity. Okay, and then step number 2. Step number 2 is that you are going to propose a project. Okay, as I said just now, there is already one project available at SR Aviation. Okay, so that particular project, I will assign the team to contact or communicate with the TS Ricky, Professor Ricky. So whoever group is being assigned, so you have to discuss with TS Ricky on the project. For the rest of the groups, you are able to think of, try to brainstorm on what are the project, what is going to be the project. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, you have to propose a project, right? And the project must be related to number 3. Number 3 is the SDG team. Okay, so the SDG team here, so as being highlighted earlier, there are 17 sustainable development goals. So similarly with the project that already being chosen for TS Ricky, okay, from TS Ricky, so the SDG team, the same thing has to be, you have to relate whatever project that you already proposing with the SDG team highlighted by the United Nations. So it can be just one SDG, it can be more than one, but I would like you to focus only one. From all the 17, just choose one related or closely related to your project. Okay, the Sustainable Development Goal team. All right. And then what's next? Once you have the you already identified the Sustainable Development Goal team, you then find the suitable community. Okay, so when you select the community, I would like you to, because we are going to have because the project going to be implemented weekly. So every week during this time, right, Friday 3 to 6, I will like to see the progress. Where have you gone through? Okay, whether you have select a community, and then whether you have you can tell me next week, okay, Pro Rahim, we have identified 3 potential community that our group would like to engage. So the first one is community of Sekolah Kebangsaan Sri Serdang, for example, and then what you're going to do at that school. And then number 2, you're going to engage the club golf UPM, for example. So you want to do something at the golf club. And then number 3, you would like to do with Masjid UPM, Putra Mosque. So which one that you would like to choose? So you have to present to me. The group has to present to me, and then I can say, okay, why not we focus on the golf club, for example. It's just not saying that everybody should go there. So that I would like to see diversity in the activity. It's not just everybody go into one community and try to engage them. So I would like to have diversity so that everybody can have different flavor. So that's number 4. Okay, it has to be confirmed with me. It's not just say you just select and then that's it. You do not have any other choices. Okay, so at least you propose several community. Okay, I would like to see in our class there are 10 different projects, 10 different communities. Okay, and then establish communication. That's step number 5. So you need to be able to write to them. To, for example, if you chose the Sekolah Kebangsaan Sri Serdang, you need to be able to write a letter to the headmaster or head teacher or the respective teachers that are involved. Okay, and then get their reply, whether through email or through. I suggest it best to have communication through email or formal letter. It's not just having a WhatsApp or phone call. Yes, you can establish through WhatsApp or phone call in the first place, but you have to ensure that there is a formal communication took place, because it's going to be an evidence that you already engaged with the community leader, right? So if it is a company, you write the letter or email to the company director, company engineer, and so on and so forth. So if it is a community, just maybe ketua kampung or the head village and other appropriate person. All right. So that is number 5. Establish communication, and then you have to keep all the communication. Who's the person in charge? Who's you are talking to, and what are the activity that you because you are going to present. You're going to share your ideas to them, and whether they are going to agree with it. All right. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg thing, because you don't know what is the problem at the school, what is the problem at the hospital, what is the problem at the market, and so on. But you need to discuss. So all the discussion has to be minuted and has to be reported in your presentation and report later on. Okay, that's task number 5. Task number 6 is to prepare a plan. Prepare a plan in terms of the implementation, meaning that you are going to have your Gantt chart, week 1 until week 14, what you need to do. Okay, so you can include activity number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into your Gantt chart, and then what is going to happen at the community, right? Whether you are going to establish video communication first, you're going to pay a visit later on, maybe after May, you should be able to go there to maybe to resolve issues on something. Okay, so but you have to put up the plan. Okay, and then number 6 is to implement the project. Again, implementing the project doesn't have to be physical implementation. You can come up with a proposal or design ideas and present to the community and see whether if they have some budget, they can also be part of it. So that kind of thing can take place. Okay, so that is implementing the project, and then it comes to the presenting the project outcome. So I do expect the group to have a short presentation, only 15-minute presentation, because we have 10 groups. So 15 times 10 groups, we already have 150 minutes. Okay, so 15-minute presentation just to present what have you done, who are the community, what is it in relation to the sustainable development team, and what are the problems that the community has, and how you come up with a solution, and how do you relate what you have learned in the aerospace program to the community problem. Okay, and of course you're going to submit your written report. I will detail it out in terms of how many pages of the report, and what are the font size. Is it double spacing? Is it that you have to have a content, you have to have introduction? I will provide a template. You just follow the template of the report. Okay, and then the final one, that I would like you to have a project reflection individually. Okay, the rest of the activity number 1 until number 9 is group activity. However, activity number 10, the project task number 10, is to do self-reflection. Just one page of self-reflection. I would like you to highlight what has the project, what have you learned from the project activity with the community? What, as an engineer, what have you learned so far when you engage with the community? It's just 1 or 2 pages. I will detail it out later in the course when the time comes. All right. I want to stop at the moment at this stage on the activity outline. I would like because I'm not going to repeat the activity outline. Okay. So, is there any questions so far on the task number 1 until number 10? Okay, quiet means you understand clearly what you need to do. Okay, Ami Hamzah said, so far so good. I hope so. So far so good. Let me just continue with the next slide. All right. In terms of the activity timeline, of course, we are now in week 1, project planning. Okay, once you receive your group members later on by today and end of today, and then you are going to form the team. You are going to prepare the project planning week 1 and week 2. So meaning that by the end of week 2 or early of week 3, I would like to see there is already a Gantt chart for your project. Okay, because it is not cast in stone, meaning that it can be altered later on. So as long as you to do project planning, you can use Microsoft Project to do the Gantt chart. And I don't know whether you have done that before, or the simplest way is just to create it using Excel sheet. So have the activities being listed, and then put up the week 1 until week 14, and just draw a line or put some milestone in the Gantt chart. So project planning will take only 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, and then project implementation is week number 3 until week number 10. Right, so we have roughly 8 weeks altogether. Okay. I've missed out week number 11. Week number 11 tinggal. So it's okay. Meaning that week 3 until week 11 probably project implementation. So project implementation, it goes when you do communication, you communicate with the community leader, you establish contact, you discuss with them what you want to do and whether they agree or not. Sometimes they do not want to be disturbed. They are so remember, other entities in Universiti Putra of Malaysia also considered as a community. For example, like you can go to the library and ask the librarian whether they need some project to be implemented. So you can also go to, as I said just now, the UPM MOS. You can go to also UPM Dewan Besar, for example. They want to have some maintenance program, for example, over there, or you can go to the IT unit for UPM. So there's so many things to do in UPM even, but you can also go outside UPM. Okay, so but again, I just want to warn you that there is no allocation from the university to support you. That's why we really encourage you to find funders. You find maybe some of the student has their father or their mother has a big company that they want to sponsor. Whatever ringgit, they are most welcome. Okay, so that going to happen within week 3 until week 11, and then we're going to plan to have the oral presentation, right, in week 12. Okay, that's why I leave it week 11, so that you can prepare for your oral presentation. And of course the project report in week 13, and finally project reflection, okay, in week 14. Right, so any questions so far? I want to pause a little bit here. Activity timeline.
Prof,
Yes.
about the project planning, week 1 to 2, is it that we need to already have a place for us to do the project, or only the plan?
Okay, thank you, Yasmin. This now, So project planning means
Yes,
that
Prof.
Yeah, project planning means you are doing the plan. As I said just now, you may propose several project. Okay, let me just go back to the previous slide. Okay, propose project planning. So even though it is sounds like prepare a plan over here, number 6, right? But basically, you need to quickly identify the what project you want to do, maybe one or two project, and who are the community that going to be involved. Okay, it can be as I said, it can be one or two community, or you can already zoom in into one targeted community. So by week 1 and week 2, maybe week 3, you already have something in mind, and it has to be confirmed or agreed with me, saying that you want to engage with the Balai Polis Serdang, for example. You are going to already identify the Ketua Balai, whoever sergeant there, and then you want to say that this is the community that we want to engage with. All right. So that is on project planning. Okay, let me just see other question from the chat box. Okay, how oral presentation is conducted? Okay, thank you, Hanif. Oral presentation going to be conducted online. Okay, most likely it's going to be online. Or if it is allowable, we are going to have our oral presentation at DK5. If not, I probably much prefer it is going to be online oral presentation. Okay, because there's no different that we are going to have oral presentation means that you're going to prepare a PowerPoint slide with all the pictures, with all the it's going to be only 15 minutes, right? So it's going to you just tell us about what project that you have conducted, what are the technology or engineering knowledge that you already impart to the community, and we will detail it out later on about the oral presentation when the time comes in week 12. Okay, so in general that will be happening in week 12. So we are going to whether take up the Friday afternoon session, so from 3 till 6 p.m. There are 3 hours over there, 180 minutes. I believe it is sufficient to have the presentation from all groups, maximum of 15 minutes per group. Okay, any other question, or maybe someone would like to suggest something?
Doctor,
Yes.
is there any like examples of what kind of project that we might do?
Okay, examples of project. The recent example last year, the students engaged with community in somewhere in Selangor. I can't remember the name of the village. You can communicate with your senior. They are still in the program. So let me just try to find out the name of Kuala Langat, if I'm not mistaken. So they engage with the community over there and try to find out in terms of the history of the place. The groups are not that many. There are 5 groups last year. The course being conducted by Prof. Tariq, and each group are doing some historical background of the community. They have to engage with the community over there to get some information. They have to engage with the jabatan, what is it called? The Pejabat Tanah Negeri Selangor, and to get some information. They contacted the district officer, pegawai daerah, and they proposed a few things, and some groups also look into the pineapple plantation. There are problems that they solve. I can't remember everything, but everybody are focusing on that area, Kuala Langat area. But for this time, it is much more open. It's not just dedicated to one area is much open, so you are free to identify your own community. Okay, it's much open-ended. For example, you may, I do not, because this is the first time I teach the course, I do not have any specific example with me, but the recent example is from the batch being taught by Professor Tariq. So you can contact your senior year 4, so to see how they are doing it, but it's slightly different the way we are going to implement this time. Okay. Right. If there's no other question, we can come back to this activity timeline later on. Let me just go to the next slide. It's on the activity assessment, right? If you still remember, the project going to contribute 30%, 30, okay, to your final marks, and out of the 30%, I divided back into 100%. So the project planning going to contribute 20%. The project implementation, when you engage with the community, going to contribute 30%. Oral presentation by the group, 20%. Written report by the group, 20%. And individual project reflection, 10%. Okay. So I will also provide you the rubrics that we use. Okay. Try to mute yourself if you are not talking. Umi Zuhaira, can you mute yourself? All right, I have to mute you because there's a noise there. All right, so for every, for example, project planning, how are you going to get 20%? I will provide a rubrics, and if you follow the rubrics, you can easily get the 20% out of 20, and how to get 30% for the project implementation. So we will base back on the rubrics to that addressing the program outcome number 6. At the same time, the course outcome number 3. Okay, it's quite straightforward, but you can easily lose mark if you do not follow the project activity assessment rubrics. Okay, it will be provided to you. For example, like for written report, what are the elements of the report that can contribute to marks, right? Project reflection. So, for example, I ask you to do 2 pages and with a minimum of, for example, maybe 500 words, and then you do not follow that, so you will lose marks over there. If you follow correctly, you will probably can gain the full 10 marks. Okay, so that is activity assessment. So consider that the project will the total mark for the project is 100, but it will contribute to 30% of the final marks for this particular course. All right, is it agreeable, or you would like to have more marks for the activity assessment? Because that is the one that is being recommended by civil department. So I'm just following the proposed activity allocation. The allocation is 30%, but what we can do is to play with the distribution in terms of, maybe you want project planning, maybe only 10%. You want more on the oral presentation or more on the written report. That can be done, but the total is 30% contributing to the final. That I cannot change anything, but the distribution can still be altered. Okay, if there's no objection, I know Yasmin say agree, right? We can say that for the time being, we'll stick to this, right? And it's quite fair, 50% on the project and 50% on the outcome. So I think quite fair enough. Okay, key documents. I will upload the the my STIE 10 by 10 matrix. Is quite a I think about nearly 30 pages framework. I would like you to also relate the my Science, Technology, Innovation and Engineering framework by Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation to relate to the project. Okay, at the same time, the Sustainable Development Goal, you can easily view the detail of the description of the 17 Sustainable Development Goal in the United Nations website and relate to the project that you are doing. Okay, for example, that you are doing about water, clean water, maybe it is Sustainable Development Goal number 6. If it is about quality education, it is Sustainable Development Goal number 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what else? I think that's all for the briefing today. I'm not going to take a long time, even though it's 3 to 6, but that is meant for the activity. But my briefing stops here unless there are questions in relation to the things that I have already highlighted just now. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, if you still have any question later on, probably you need some time to absorb the information that I have already shared, and I will also provide the video recording for this particular session for those who are not able to attend. I can see some of you join in and leaving the group as I did my presentation. I don't know what happened. Maybe your internet connection is not that good, so you are connected and disconnected so many times. So what else? Oh, I forgot to give out the attendance. Maybe I can also provide the attendance Google link later on in our WhatsApp group, so that you can click in your attendance, because it's quite difficult to report who attend, who not attend, because as I can see here, there are 3 Shaira in the group. There are because sometimes you have many devices, right? So it's okay, but I would like you to also click in the Google form that I'm going to put in the WhatsApp group later on. Okay, the last call for any question. If not, we'll see back all of you on Monday from 8 till 10. It's not 8 till 11, it's 8 till 10 for the topic number 2. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys back on Monday, but try to look in Putra Blast maybe later today to see your group member, and you can start discussion, because you are supposed to, at least you can start early to find out what are the community that or the project that you're going to do, and you can always ask question in the WhatsApp group, so that when I reply, everybody else can also know the answer. Okay, with that, thank you, have a nice day, stay safe, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you,
Doctor.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Doctor.